Alright, welcome back to another episode of ADHD and Crochet, and I hope you didn't think we were done. Because we do still have another snail to get through, but this is the last true snail I have to do. So we're almost there. And I have been experimenting with a bunch of stuff, so we'll see what else we have here. You can already kind of see some of my other projects that we're going to sew together, hopefully today, but it might not be today. Might be next time. So this little guy shouldn't take too long. Just gotta attach his little eye stalks and his shell, and then we're done. We can move on to something that's not a snail, necessarily. Probably mentioned it before, but you might be thinking that my favorite critter is the snail, since I've done so many snails at once. It's not. The pattern is just fun to do, and it had so many options that I had to try them all. Now, for the snail with the skull shell, I ended up not going for anything smaller. It did have the option to make something smaller. I just opted to not do that. I chose a small amount of my sanity over that. And I do mean a small amount of my sanity, because there's not much of that left. Now, on this video, I do have a little bit of an update on the house endeavor. The inspections have been completed on it, and we are just waiting for the seller to hopefully agree to our terms about some of the things we'd like to have fixed and updated before we move in. We have 9 days? 9 days to get that away. That's exciting. I did do a little bit of a dumb thing. So I get my groceries delivered, the bulk of them delivered through Walmart online and all that fun stuff. And at some point, I had put in the address of the house we are trying to purchase. I was like just checking to see if they deliver over there and working on a wish list, and it asked for an address, so I put that one in. And apparently, without my realizing, made that new address the default address. So, and I didn't notice. The next time I went to buy groceries, they got delivered to that house. Luckily, no one was home. We were able to just go grab them without any issues. It ended up being a pretty fun venture because it's a nice drive. And we saw 2 groundhogs and a turkey. I don't know if it was a wild turkey or if someone's turkey just escaped their yard. There was a turkey crossing the road. That was kind of fun. I'm used to seeing like all the cows in people's pastures and stuff out here now. So it was kind of neat to see something different. First, I thought it was a female peacock, but I think it was. No, we did not hit the turkey. The turkey is fine, as far as I know. Pinch this little part here. Make sure it's nice and closed. Don't want any of that stuffing leaking out. At least with my misadventures, I can say for certainty, with certainty, that my groceries will get delivered to the correct address when we move there. If we move there. Guess it was an accidental experiment. All right. And now we have our snail done. And I probably won't do a snail for a little while. Might be the last snail I do for a while. Set him aside. We're gonna work on this guy now. Oh, it's raining outside. This little guy does have a snail shell, but I am not doing a full-on snail, as you can see. I'm making it kind of like a backpack that's attached to him. I'm gonna take off his little hat here. We're going to take off the little straps. Now. We're going to focus just on the snail right now. I do need to remove it from his body as well. Poking myself. Actually expecting it to rain today. That is a little bit of a surprise. It's raining rather heavy. I'm just going to go around following the spiral here. Oh, made a mistake here. That's okay. Pretty easy one to fix. Crisis averted. Now, what I am working on now is actually a mixture of patterns, all by Megan Lapp here. But what I did was I took, obviously, the snail pattern for the shell. I think I used the medium round shell. Maybe I used the small. I don't know. I used one of them. I think it was the small. But anyways, use the snail pattern to make the shell backpack here. And then for the little Impkin friend, I made the arms and legs using a mushroom sprite pattern. And those are, you make a variety of arms and legs and body types and mix and match them as you please. And then I took the Impkin for one of the sitting bodies. There we go. Now we've got our little back. Now we're going to pin it in place here. I'll find out exactly where I want this. It needs to be able to sit, so I think right there. Perfect. That's fine. We don't need that extra one. And then for his little hat, I took one of the mushroom cap bottoms from the Impkin pattern book because there's like two different types of mushroom cap bottoms, and they're like little hats. They're supposed to be removable, but I'm going to sew it in place. And then I took a mushroom cap from the Mushroom Sprite patterns. And I did have to do a little bit of modification to make sure everything lined up when crocheting the two halves together. We made it work. And then I gave him a little bead necklace because why not? He needed a little more accessorizing. Oh, it's raining pretty hard out there. I'd open the window to let in more of that rain sound, but I think my carpet would get wet. Do not have a splash shield out there. I just have mesh. That's okay. And just as quickly as it started, it's stopping. Oh, maybe not. Just sounded like it. We probably had a gust of wind or something. I don't necessarily need to sew all of this in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do a loose stitching. Kind of get here. Under the leg again. Alright. That's thundering outside. Fun fact about me, I'm scared of thunder. I don't like it. I'm not like deathly afraid of it or whatever, but it does make me flinch a lot. Now we've got our shell attached. So now we need to get our little straps attached here because this is supposed to be a backpack. Here, this is going to go around the arm, right there. Now, fun part about this, I don't need to sew it to the arm. I just need to sew it to the shell. Backpack strap. So that's what we're gonna do. Now for these, I just kind of freehanded it. Made a chain, single crocheted down the chain. What fun stuff. So, no pattern for that. I did something that made sense. Now this backpack, of course, can't really be used for anything. It's just for looks. But I think it gives him a pretty cute look. Mega Lapp does have patterns for like little satchels and pockets and stuff that do have function if you do them right. Not for very much, they're very small, but they do have function, which is pretty cool. This is just not one of those times. I just wanted to have like a little shell backpack. One of those novelty things where it just makes you look like a thing. It doesn't really have any other function beyond that. That's all. Because sometimes you just need to have a little fun. Accessorize. Now we get to have the other one. Put that in place. Again, we're just gonna have it go right there. Under the necklace. And under the arm, we're gonna have it go there. And I think with this string, because I should have enough, I'm also going to do a little stay stitch for where the necklace is, because that's what's keeping it in position. It'll just make my life easier this way. Right. Quick attach here. It needs a couple of stitches. An awkward placement. That anymore. Here. This anymore. And then we're going to work our way up into the head. We're going to have to do a little bit of Marco Polo with our needle. Apparently our string. There we go. carefully. Put over here. That's fine. I'm going to do just a couple of stitches around this string here to make it stay in place. I don't need that anymore. And this is all going to be hidden by the hat anyways. Just keeps it so it hangs like that around his neck and shoulders. Get our string in the head here. And snip, snip. And now, we get to put his little hat on. I want it to go like that. And I just threw a pin to the floor. Oh, I see it. I'm going to pin it to the head very carefully. Make sure it stays in place. Put all the rest of those pins away. I don't need nearly as many as I had originally used. Since I'm actually attaching it now, not just hoping to God it doesn't get lost until I'm able to do it. Alright. And now we're going to go up a little bit into the hat itself. So we get around that arm there. Remove that pin. And then we aren't going to worry about exactly where our stitching is. I'm going to carefully put it throughout the head. I go around a couple times. We don't want it to be too tight. We don't want it to be super noticeable on the outside. But we want it to stay in place. So, just a little bit more. A little bit of a diagonal here. Again, this doesn't need to be like super tight stitching, just enough to kind of tack it to the head so it's not going to go anywhere on accident. hug. And all the way down. We're about where we started. Not exact, it doesn't need to be. It's close enough. We're going to put a little knot here. Super tight. And hide it in the hat. And I just gotta hide one more little string. I forgot this string existed. Yeah, that's good. There we go. Go through. And zip. And then the camera's gonna jiggle for a minute because I need to plug it in before we have a mishap. Oh, right. Now we have our little mushroom guy imp and snail imp. He's just a cool dude. He's gonna sit over there. And we're actually gonna do another mushroom top one. So this guy is a little different. Much bigger. He's got a tail that we gotta sew on. He also has a little vest, but the vest is not getting sewn on. It has buttons. He also has a rainbow loom bracelet necklace. He will have a matching bracelet for whoever decides to have him. This will get safety pinned to him. Or I'll probably have his little arms holding it like this. So whoever wants him will also have a matching bracelet. But first things first, we are going to attach these ears. And I don't need this one anymore. I need this one. This one is a little bigger. This little guy, I kind of did the same as the last one. I took the Impkin pattern for the body, but I used the mushroom sprite pattern for the arms and legs. The ears are also from the Impkin patterns. All of it's by Megan Lapp, by the way. And then the mushroom hat. The base of the hat is from the Impkin pattern, but the mushroom portion from the mushroom sprite. But We've got that one done. And the ear attached. And then once we get the ears attached, we will attach. And honestly, I love these little eyes. Love the off-center eyes. Makes them look a little cuter. But I'm sorry, you're gonna hear me yawning. I've had quite a day. I didn't expect to be gone for most of my Saturday. We ended up leaving at 10 a.m. and not getting back until like 3:30 p.m. My cats were very mad at us for that. They get fed at noon, and I did not feed them before we left. I thought we were going to be back by like 30, 30 or 1. Abby has gotten back into HEMA, which is great. But there's also a tournament going on that's going to happen in a month that he wants to participate in. And so his class added on like another hour to it to allow for extra sparring and practice for the tournament, which is great. I am all for that. I was just unaware of it and would have planned my day differently had I known. But it was nice outside. Just kind of sat outside and watched them sword fight, which is quite enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. The issue was we were getting hungry, so we went and got lunch. When he was done with that, and then we went and did grocery shopping. Alright, now that we've got the ears attached, we can work on the hat. Bring it down at the back here. Now the rainbow loom does not have a pattern necessarily. You have a rainbow loom, you know how to do it. If not, you can look it up and find out. But I made him his own, and then I stitched it into place very carefully so I wouldn't damage the loops. And I made a matching one for whoever. I didn't want his to be loose, I wanted it to be in place. So I did stitch it. Just a couple of quick stitches though, nothing crazy. The reason I wanted it to be in place, sewn in place, is because it makes sure that there's less chance of it damaging the yarn. And it keeps it from getting stretched out as much. It's just in place. At least I think it does. Not fluctuating as much, it's just right there. But it won't damage the yarn as much because it's not rubbing as much. This hat is supposed to be removable, but I didn't want it to be removable. I am stitching it in place. Now, if you were to do this pattern yourself, obviously you can keep it as a removable hat. It will look just as cute. These are supposed to be highly customizable, and I love them dearly. Oh, looks like he has a 5 o'clock shadow. I don't know if the camera is picking up the color change or not. It kind of is blue and like a purplish brown. Where the brown ended up being, it kind of gives him a 5 o'clock shadow on his face. A little farmer dude. Now, these don't necessarily have a lot of sewing to do because you are just sewing the accessories to them. All of the main parts, so the body is crocheted together with the arms and legs, of course, the head. So, really, if you are happy with just your little doll being your little doll, you don't have to worry about any sewing. You can just leave it. And the accessories don't necessarily have to be sewn on in a lot, except for like if you add on ears or tails. But like hats and clothing do not have to be sewn in. Sewn to it, you can just leave it loose. There we have hat is sewn on. Now we're gonna work on the tail. I'm gonna move the shirt or the vest out of the way. I'm not gonna take it off, just move it. And obviously you can customize these more than the book gives you, because the mushroom sprite arms and legs match up with the Impkin arms and legs stitch count wise. So it works out quite well. You just kind of have to play around with placement where the attaching portions are. couple more stitches, and this little guy is done. I like adding tails to them because it makes them a little more sturdy, but not everyone needs to have a tail. Keep it sturdy. Preference on a lot of them. But now this guy is done. It'll sit nice and pretty there, so it covers back properly. I'm gonna go ahead and give him his bracelet. I put my safety pins. I have to grab those. Now I don't need a big safety pin, just a little one. So I have our safety pin here. Wrap it around. Oh, you're gonna have to put it through here. I'm just carefully gonna try not to pierce anything through here. Little hands. Go in one. In one. Out the other. It looks like he's holding it. And at first glance, you don't really see the safety pin. Holding his little friendship bracelet for you. Alright, we can probably get one more. I'm gonna go for a simpler one here. At least as far as sewing is concerned. This one is a little different. I took the time to glue together some feathers and make him a little headpiece and a little tail. There's really not a lot of sewing to this one. And I decided he also needed a beaded necklace. So we're actually going to do that necklace first. So for the necklace, just gotta make sure the beads are where I want them. I want them to kind of be right there. And then kind of roll him over. The necklace, we're going to have to go 2 sides at a time on each side. Thundering outside. Make a quick little knot. The feathers are going to block the camera multiple times, apparently. But I was definitely going for kind of like a weird bird vibe on this one. I played around with the idea of giving him arms, but I think what I have is enough. Already pretty extra. And I am using an actually sharp needle on this one, on this portion. Just because of what I'm working with here. So it's not going to go around like a true necklace, and I don't really care for it to, because it is covered in the back by all the feathers. Now the top feathers I did a little differently. I added I wrapped some string around the base of them until it made a nice little fat knot type thing, and then I just kind of enclosed it in when I finished the head. Now the back, I kind of took the pocket pattern from the Impkin and made it a covering. I also did some color changes that were not part of the pattern, but I wanted them, so they happened. And then we're just going to sew around this portion here. And I did make some modifications to the pocket to make it a little bit bigger so it would cover everything I needed it to. There's just really so much you can do with all these patterns. Now we're getting to a bit of a technical part. Because I need it to go around here. I don't want that to happen. I might need to go back with a fine point. But there's some glue that's over here that I just kind of hot glued the feathers together. So I might come back with a blow dryer and heat that glue up so that I can mold it properly and also maybe stitch through it. We'll see. But I don't really want these to be all too molded. I want them to be pretty firmly attached. We'll have to play around with that a little bit. I can't exactly stitch through the glue very easily. feathers are more like a back covering than an actual tail, but from the front it looks like a tail. From the back it's more like a collar. That's okay. Cute, and that's the important part. At least somebody will find it cute. Not everybody, and that's okay. We all have different tastes. Alright. Now I still have a couple more of these little guys, but we're not going to get to them today. I will get to them another time. Now, if you like the video, please like the video. And if you would like more content like this video, then go ahead and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.